Welcome everybody from the Sparx Systems YouTube channel. It's great to have you here today. Once again, we're looking at our urban parking system. And recently we've been looking at a number of different requirements, modeling and management features. And in particular, we looked at an introduction to Kanban and using requirements in a Kanban diagram. And now we're going to follow up with a more advanced video that's looking at some of the advanced features of requirements in Kanban diagrams in Enterprise Architect. My name's Scott Hebbard. I'm joined by Stephen Maguire. Welcome, Stephen. What are some of the more advanced features in Kanban that you can tell us about today?
Thanks for the introduction, Scott, and always a pleasure to be here. Yeah, it's one of my favourite topics because I find the Kanban diagrams incredibly useful for my own work with the tool for internal projects, but also for working with other organisations that we do consulting work for. So let's get started. Up in the top right-hand corner, I've got Kanban selected there. I can select that one, or I can go into requirements modeling. I'm going to change to requirements modeling here, and we'll see that the tool focuses on requirements management there, introducing a number of patterns. You can inject those into your models with the Create Model button, giving you productivity gains. I like to do things from first principles, Scott, so I'm going to close that page. We're going to return to our Kanban diagram that we had in an earlier video. If you're watching this video and haven't seen the previous video, I encourage you to go back and look at that video. So what we have here is product management, and let's have a look at what we have. We've got product management there, and under requirements we've got our own product management folder there specifically for requirements. So I'm going to open that up, and we started initially defining a number of columns for our Kanban. But just to recap on that, I simply right mouse click on the diagram and choose the Kanban option there. And what I did was I chose element status as the property to bind this Kanban diagram to, and I said fill from binding, which then gave me all of these different status values there. So I changed a couple of appearance things there, but let's get looking at some more advanced features. So let's look at the advanced feature here of automatically loading information from our repository. So I'm going to say sync with search, and I'll say autofill there as well. No, actually, I won't choose that right at the moment. I'll do add a package here. So this allows me to choose a package or a custom SQL to be the basis for loading my elements. So this is all about loading the elements from somewhere in the repository into the Kanban diagram. And I can do that in two ways, either from the elements that are part of a package or through a custom SQL. I'm going to just use the package one there. I'm going to say add there and add package, and it'll bring up a list of packages. I want to look at my functional requirements. That's where I am at the moment, and I'll choose that package. So I'll say okay to that, but I could choose any package in the repository, and we do have other requirements in this one here, for example, under payment system. So if I want functional requirements, I'll say okay to that, and you can see here there's an option for include child packages. I don't happen to have child packages. All my requirements are nested under each other, and now I can say, look, let's run the search. And as we know, do you want to save it? Yes, I do. And now let's click off this, and you can see now
it's all done.
It's all done. And the colors we've got over here, let's turn this off for a minute. We talked about having a legend there in the previous video, and I'm just going to turn that off for a minute. We'll turn it back on in a minute. I simply say apply auto color. I'll turn that off, and I'll save that. That brings that back into a neutral view there. And you can see here that we've got a lot of elements in our Kanban diagram now.
I can see check remaining time is critical because it's got that little red icon there.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's a high one. Yeah, priority high. Yeah. Right. So I don't think we've got any critical ones in there, but yeah, well picked up, Scott. You can see those straight away. We can see this legend here. So I'm going to turn that back on again. And if you look at this legend, you can see that it was based on difficulty. So I'm going to change that legend title there and I'm going to say requirements difficulty.
Yeah.
Legend, and that there tells people exactly what's going on. So let's turn that back on again so people see exactly what's happening there. And now you've got three different properties that are being shown on the diagram. First of all, you've got the status, which is indicated by the column that the particular requirement is located in. So all of these requirements here, and if we look over at the properties window and look at the status option there, we can see all of these are proposed. These ones are validated in this column. But then the other thing that we have is, as you pointed out, we've got the priority there. So we've got priority medium, and this one is priority low. And the other thing that we have going on is, well, actually, let's have a look at this one here. This one is that priority. What was this? Sorry, yeah, that was priority low, and these ones are medium. And so what we have there, that's indicated with the little icon. So the priority there is medium, and we've got the color, which is showing the difficulty. So a number of different properties there. Let's refresh again about what we were doing here with resources. So when things are in progress, we've got some resources that have been applied to them. Just to refresh your memory about that, I'll go into this availability one. I go into the construct ribbon, the resources management panel, the resources item, that pops up a resource allocation there. I'm just going to put a new resource in there, and I'll say that the resource is Casper Imson, and we'll say that the role is acting as a Java programmer in this case, and we'll say that Casper is going to finish this next week sometime. Save and close that. Casper hasn't done any work on it yet, but let's make sure that Casper is doing some work. We'll modify the resource, and we'll say that Casper's completed some work. So that's a little bit of a refresh on what we did last time, but we looked at this advanced feature of bringing these things in automatically, and you notice that, like, so they all go into the right columns there. So the other thing I can do, Scott, is I can run a filter. So if I look in the Kanban and I look at this, I'll say, yes, I want to save the Kanban. I've got a filter here, and so I can set a filter, and let's add a filter and say that we want to say that it's all about priority, and we want to say that we want to look at the equal to, and let's have a look at those values there. Let's say equal to I there.
Okay.
Well, actually, let's go. If we go one of, you'll be able to see the options there. So I'll say we go high and medium, but we don't want low.
Okay.
So I'll go okay to that, and then that's been applied. Now that filter applies to what's been defined in the advanced tab. So I'm going to go there again and run the search, and I'll say save it, and that will filter out so we'll just be leaving the ones that are high and medium. So that's a very powerful feature, Scott, and could go back again. Let's turn that back off again now and turn the filter off. We can simply remove the filter and say yes to that, and let's run our search again and go okay to that. And now we've got all of our elements.
Many more elements.
Many more elements. So there are lots of other things that are available as part of the Kanban. One of them that I really like, Scott, is the concept of an overfill and an underfill limits. So here, if we look in appearance, we've got the overfill color and the underfill color. So if we enable the underfill and overfill limits, let's see what happens. So we've enabled those, and let's go okay to that, or let's apply that. And let's have a look at our diagram now. So nothing much has changed, but if we look at the limit on this, now we're going to go back now and set a limit. So we've set the colors, but set a limit on the configuration. So we go into the configuration there, we go into our lanes, and let's say in progress, we're interested in setting a limit. Let's set this as 3. And so what it's saying is that we're only allowed to have 3 things in this in progress column. And that's a Kanban feature to make sure that you haven't got too many things that are are being worked on at the one time.
So the product manager might get annoyed if there's 15 things in progress and
yeah,
nothing's moving forward.
Yeah, and there hasn't been the right assignment of resources to be able to do that, or there aren't the available resources for people to swarm onto that. So let's go through there and let's have a look at this. We've got 3 on 3. Let's move something out of that column for a minute. We'll move this book cart session. We'll move it back into approved and move to that. Now you can see that the column header goes green, and if you remember, that was the underfill color. So what it's saying is that we've still got some capacity in the in progress thing. So let's say, look, let's put some more things in. I'm going to close this resource window, give us a little bit more space there. And I'm going to say, look, this one here, this time display one has moved along. Let's move that to approved now. Let's put this book session back again. And you'll see now that we don't have any capacity. So there's no capacity in there. It's gone back to its default color. Now let's put in this time display into this one and move that. And now you can see that a different color has popped up in the header, and that's that pink color saying that we've exceeded our overfill limit, which was 3. And so we're now 4 on 3. And so, we'd have to try and finish this work. And so, this availability one there can be finished. We'll just go back into our resources item there. So I'm on the construct ribbon, the resources management panel, go into that. And let's see that if we can get Casper finishing this particular piece of work, and we'll say, look, yeah, that's going to be finished to 100%, and that's all okay now. So that thing is gone from there. Let's move that into implemented now, and move to there, and you can see that we're back in square again. That we're within our in progress limit there, but we don't have any more capacity. So, very useful features there, Scott. And remember the idea of being able to look at the other windows. So while you're working on this, the book parking session, we've got the notes that are there. We've got our properties that are, describing the information. We've got, that it's in progress, that difficulty is high, priority low, and all sorts of other information about that. Let's go to our traceability window, and we can see that it's linked to a number of other things, including that it owns, this book parking session owns a number of other requirements, which in turn own other requirements as well. So we've got realized by book parking session use case, and it depends upon this business case. So we could go simply now and right mouse click on this and say, view in find in all diagrams, and we've got all of these other diagrams where we can look at the connection between things. And so that's a useful thing to do. I can go into other diagrams. We explored this in the previous video, but just to hone in on it again, find in all diagrams, and the system views like meter requirements model to business case, product management requirements there. So we've got a number of other views that we could look at, including this use case view here. Let me have a look at that parking system meter model one. Yeah, let's look at that one. And we can see here that is now linked to the range of other elements. So, Scott, there's look at some of the advanced features of Kanban, and let's say that there are a number of other things here. I'm just going to touch on this sublanes one for a minute. So what we can do here is put a sublane in. So let's put new in there, and let's call this anonymous. Let's call this review, and let's apply that to the in progress there. So I can simply click that one, go new there again, and say build. So it might be that someone's building this this particular functionality. I'll say okay to that now, and let's go okay there. Let's go back and now and have a look at our in progress. Now we've got 2 sublanes. So that's a useful thing to do as an advanced feature, just to be able to say, look, the first thing that someone needs to do is review, review this requirement, make sure it's, that it's ready to be implemented, and then we can, move it across to the build phase there.
Yeah. So
there are lots of things that you can use in conjunction with each other. You saw me using, the legends there. So I've got that requirements difficult legend there. I could put other legends on. I can do all sorts of other things. I can add documents to these elements. So there's lots and lots of other things that you could use in conjunction. But there's an overview, Scott, of some of the advanced features of the Kanban facility in Enterprise Architect.
Thank you very much, Stephen. It's very comprehensive and very powerful, and I like the fact that you can just import requirements, so you could have hundreds, and there's lots of visual things to grab your eye, to grab your attention, that also convey meaning and can help tell a story about what's approved, what's validated, what the status is, and yeah, so it's really rich information there. To our audience, thank you very much for joining us today. We always love having you here. If you've enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the Sparx Systems YouTube channel, where you can see hundreds of videos on Enterprise Architect and other Sparx Systems products, so you can learn more. If you have questions about some of the advanced Kanban features that we've covered, or just questions in general about requirements management and using Enterprise Architect, you can reach out to Stephen using his LinkedIn and website credentials that are found in the video description below. As always, thanks Stephen for showing us everything today. It's been great to see how much power there is in the tool in Enterprise Architect. This is kind of what you see in some of those TV Kanban diagrams, where the team can look up and instantly see what's in progress and what's validated and stuff, but it's all done in EA and it's all easy to manage. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Always good to be here. One thing I'd like to mention just before we finish is that I have worked in organizations where they have this projected onto a wall, and so it's dynamically been dynamically updating. They use it for their stand-up meetings, and it's there all the time for people to see. But it's not just pieces of paper. It is elements that people can move around and see the connectivity to. So that's a food for thought if you wanted to project this onto a screen and have it available for people to see for the particular project.
Yeah, no, amazing. Looks fantastic. Well, thanks, Stephen. Learned a lot, and I'm sure lots of people in our audience will be keen to go off and build their own Kanban diagrams themselves.